Every morning at 5:42 a.m., Mark's alarm went off. Not because he wanted it to, because he had to. Being a single dad meant there was no backup plan, no second adult to say, "I've got this, go sleep." It was just him and his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Mark worked nights cleaning offices downtown. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid just enough to keep the lights on and food on the table. Every morning before heading home, he stopped by the same small coffee stand near the subway entrance, and that's where he first noticed her. She sat on the same bench every morning, wrapped in a thin gray coat, hands shaking as she tried to warm them around an empty cup. Her hair was neat but tired. Her shoes were worn down at the soles. She didn't beg. She didn't speak. She just waited. The first time Mark ignored her. The second time he hesitated. The third morning, Lily tugged on his sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, why is that lady always cold?" That was it. That morning, Mark bought 2 coffees instead of 1. He walked over, knelt slightly so he wouldn't tower over her, and said softly, "Good morning. It's freezing today. Thought you might want this." The woman looked up, startled, like kindness had physically hit her. "Thank you," she said quietly. Her voice was educated, controlled, not what Mark expected. From that day on, it became routine. Coffee. Sometimes a sandwich. Once a scarf Lily insisted on giving her. Mark never asked questions. The woman never volunteered answers. Weeks passed, then months. They talked sometimes about the weather, about Lily's school, about nothing important at all. She never asked for money directly, never pushed, never crossed a line. One morning she didn't show up. Mark felt off. The next day she was back. Same bench, same coat. But something was different. She looked calmer, like someone who knew something he didn't. "Rough day yesterday?" Mark asked. She smiled. "You could say that." That was the first time she smiled fully. 3 mornings later, everything changed. Mark had just handed her a coffee when the black cars pulled up. 4 of them, sleek, tinted windows, the kind you only see in movies or political convoys. 4 men stepped out first, tall, broad, suits tailored so perfectly they looked painted on. Each wore an earpiece. Each scanned the area before relaxing, just a little. Then the woman stood up, not slowly, not nervously. She stood like someone who was used to rooms going silent. One of the men opened a folder. Another pulled out documents. "Ms. Harlow," the man said, "we're ready." Mark froze. "Mrs. Harlow?" She turned to Mark, her expression gentle but serious. "I'm sorry," she said. "I should have told you sooner." "Told me?" "What?" Mark asked, his heart suddenly pounding. She took a breath. "I wasn't poor." The words hit him harder than he expected. She continued, "My name is Eleanor Harlow. I was the majority shareholder of Harlow Industrial Group." Mark blinked. He knew that name. Everyone did. Billion-dollar company, headlines, lawsuits, power. "I disappeared on purpose," she said quietly. "After my husband died, I needed to know something." "What?" Mark asked. "Whether kindness still existed when there was nothing to gain." The bodyguards stepped back. The lawyers waited. Eleanor looked around at the bench, the coffee stand, the subway stairs. "You pass my test every morning," she said. Mark laughed once, nervously. "I didn't know I was taking one." "That's why it mattered," she replied. She reached into her coat and handed him a small envelope. "I won't insult you with charity," she said, "but I'd like to offer you a job. Full salary, health care, flexible hours, and a scholarship fund for Lily." Mark didn't open the envelope. He shook his head. "I didn't help you because you were rich," he said, "and I don't want favors because you are." Eleanor studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled again, this time with respect. "Good," she said. "Then let me rephrase." She took the envelope back and replaced it with another. "This is not a gift, it's payment." "For what?" Mark asked. "For reminding me who I was before the money," she said, "and for showing my future board exactly what kind of man I want shaping this company." The lawyers nodded. The bodyguards relaxed. Eleanor extended her hand. Will you accept a partnership instead? Mark looked down at Lily, who had been quietly watching the whole thing. She whispered, Daddy, you helped her when she was cold. Mark took Eleanor's hand. Yes, he said, but only if I still get to buy the coffee. Eleanor laughed, and for the first time in months, Mark felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope.